we'll get to all these things. I guess we'll start out. It says we finally got a little bit more information on Titania, the person who attacked the jury in the first episode. It says she caused panic while fleeing traffic court. So
she did. She certainly did that.
Yeah,
she did cause panic. That is true.
We're gonna get a bit more of her in episode 5 towards the end, and possibly goes on. But for now, all we know in totality is he left traffic court, burst through a wall, and then threw a desk at a bunch of jurors for no reason at all.
Yes, which is the typical reaction to getting a trip.
Yes.
Something changed, obviously, because that fight was so poorly edited. There was definitely more footage that they didn't use, and maybe there was a whole explanation for that fight.
Yeah, maybe there was like dialogue, Maybe.
What? Maybe we were just like, we should just accept this blessing that they removed dialogue from this show.
It could be a blessing, yeah.
She's also apparently a super influencer, apparently.
Yeah, she's referred to as a super-powered influencer, which is like...
And
that's not cringe.
First of all, let me thank you for dealing with that personal matter.
For reasons
People will read something into
and that is known to the public.
Yeah.
Are we going to get
world building thingy?
It seems now we don't have to earn our special individuals in terms of like origins or whatever. Even at Broad State, it's just like there's just people around who are just
it's like super soldiers. You just
add
them. It's fine.
Now we need a new law division for that because there's so many of them.
I want to give some credit because I think it was on a real BBC episode that was said like super soldiers everywhere. Falcon Minnesota. It's like even in Falcon Minnesota they gave you an origin.
Yeah, I guess they made something up. Yeah.
But like that guy, this guy you've never heard of, he made more. Which is what I'm referring to when I say like at least a broad sort of like this is why. But in this show they're just like they're just popping up.
Yeah, just around. Titania, she's a super. She wasn't even hidden the whole time. She's a super influencer. So there. Women.
And as soon as we get Black Panther 2, we're gonna get a whole another civilization on Earth on top of everything. Yeah, that's not gonna make things even more complicated and terrible.
No, it's fine.
Honestly, in terms of repairs, the show that I might want to avoid the most would be the law one. Thinking about it. Like, there's no way. Like, how am I supposed to make sense of all of this?
Well, they won't, so...
They already said they don't even know how normal law works.
It's very apparent.
As
someone who does not know how the law works, I can tell.
Episode 4 is the worst one for that, I think, out of all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking. But yeah, they're just announcing this, like, the jury are calling the green woman a hero who saved lives, and it's just, I thought a line was funny, because it's like, she is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's what they're calling her, and it's like, she is. That's what she did, but, it's good to revise that, I guess. Yeah, so she's, after all that, she went to the bar, and everyone's chanting She-Hulk before she walks in, and her friend, who, if I was to, like, make a video breakdown of this, I'd be, like, theorizing that her friend is literally fucking Mephisto at this point. Every single thing that comes out of her friend has nothing to do with the well-being of her. It's all to do with, like, cheap thrills or superficial wants and desires. And it's just, she's always a bad influence. He's like, oh no, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to have to be She-Hulk. And she's just like, give them what they want. Some guy will, like, give us free drinks. Like, and that happens. She says, like, because you're a superhero, I got free drinks. This is great.
That's funny, though. We're going to be bumping into this a lot during the show. That it's kind of like Thor, Love, and Thunder, where comedy comes first and damn everything else.
A little bit. It's going to be interesting if they want to have more serious moments in the show.
Oh, God, can you imagine?
Great. So yeah, she has a drink and she's listening to more people say She-Hulk and she's like, ugh, I can't even exist without being a derivative of Hulk.
So what you're saying is that she does not like the name She-Hulk.
Which, I mean, fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I totally understand. I get it.
The beginning of a persistent running gag, which is, isn't She-Hulk a stupid name? Like, this is the beginning of many, many, many jokes about it.
It's become more than a pattern at this point. What is with the MCU and making fun of the names?
Their name, yeah, they do it
Quite
a
a few
lot.
at this point.
Instead of embracing it, they're just like,
Well,
"Ha,
it's
our
pretty funny. They'll happily make money off of them while making fun of them. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Because
very strange.
if they wanted
Well,
to go
they
the
keep-
angle of like, well, imagine these names in real life, you wouldn't take them seriously. It's like, well, look how absurd your fucking world is. What do you mean?
I would take it seriously if you did."
Yeah, you don't take anything else
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
Because right after that, Nikki just straight up says, "Well, Hunk is a Hunk. Hulk is a
Oh, we got
dumb
hunks
name."
later in the show, but
Yeah. But yeah, Jesus was like, "Well, Hulk is a dumb name anyway, or as well, or something."
Yeah, so I mean, so we have now got it. So they've said Doctor Octopus is dumb, Hulk is dumb, She-Hulk is dumb. What was the one from?
Blacking out Boltigan, they think that's pretty dumb.
Yeah,
I think
Paul
they made
Mordo
fun
as
of
well.
Flag Smashers as well. I think Flag Smashers got made fun of too.
Yeah, it's not just the pattern of like, why are you making fun of all these names when they're the ones you're adapting, but also just, is that really the best you got for comedy? You just go, lol,
Yeah, it's
that's
like
a funny name.
Yeah,
that
like,
is
it's
hilarious,
so
though.
subtle. It's like barely a joke, like in terms of just structure or anything.
So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was lame, and the whole like being a derivative of Hulk is like, I mean, is that not technically the literal truth? You got his blood. And,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know.
Simulate your existence as a
These
superhero.
people only know one other person that can turn into a green big monster thingy.
And it's been around for 15 years.
15 years Hulk's like, oh, female Hulk, She-Hulk. Like, oh yeah, I see.
Well, yeah, you can't blame her for doing that name, and she doesn't make any effort to push her own preferred name. She just
No,
goes, yeah,
not
okay,
at
I
all.
hate the name, but I'll use it. It's like, okay then.
It's like Marvel.
That thing's stuck in a little weird because every time they bring in a sexist character, you always like sort of face palm. So like, oh,
Which one?
like, well, the main one, the guy who's so overt, it's
Dennis.
like they didn't even try. So he's like, why, like, what you did was fucking assholey, bringing out the Hulk for publicity in that thing. Like, oh, so he's that dense as a character that you'll like accuse her of having done it for publicity when she like saved people's lives. Like, yeah, great, cool. And then she says, only you would think that. And he's like, how did you get these powers? Like, I don't want to talk about it. There's nepotism. Which I was like, oh, you kind of. It wouldn't have happened if you were family. But, I mean, the thing is, obviously, anybody would take the exchange on this planet that she got. Like, we went over the last time we covered this. She's got a gift. Pretty much a strict gift.
She's got a gift in the same way that syphilis is a gift.
What do you mean?
No, what are you talking about? Like, it's a categorical upgrade.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, I meant like in other aspects of who she is.
No, I don't think you did. I think you made an error.
What's interesting is that literally, in episode 4, with my friends as I was watching this, we're going to get there, I was saying, why does she not want to be Hulk? Because Hulk is just a complete and total upgrade in every way to being her. Why does she seem to have so much, like, why does she not want to be that, like, all the time, you know? I don't think they really explore that much.
That's the arc. That's what they want to do as the arc for this show. It's become pretty evident that
He's
the arc
decided-
is going to be her embracing the She-Hulk identity.
We decided early on that there's like a barrier between Jen Walters and She-Hulk, and that doesn't want to.
Which is weird because there isn't a barrier between them, and that's something that like Bannon struggled with so much. And isn't it just so weird? Like I don't even know how to categorize how weird it is that they're trying to create a wall between them when I felt like the whole point was there wasn't.
Well, maybe that's the point that they're going for.
But I
didn't realize.
Yeah, that might be good. The barrier I'm referring to sort of is her being like, I don't know if they're going to go this way directly, but just like, you know, I want to do things on my terms, Jen Walters' terms, not She-Hulk's. But then we've already seen several instances of these next few episodes where she's using She-Hulk to her advantage. Unclear of if the show's going to call out her hypocrisy on that. see.
I don't think the show I think the show considers that as her more and more starting to embrace it rather than like her character.
Well, I think the whole fourth wall breaking, which is, I'm not proud of this, is probably what I'm gonna do. I'm just impressed that's all we get.
I would just go as
Because
far as saying,
hypocrisy, I mean.
when we go over a couple of things she says in these episodes, it feels like the show trying to make a point about certain things, but then Jen does it herself in Russia.
Yeah. Oh my god, isn't it terrible that people swipe left to right? Yeah, you both do that. Both of you in this conversation do that.
But yeah, so the last thing he says to her is, "Oh, there's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it." Yeah, it's always been this hilarious thing of just like, sexists don't talk like that. Like, come on, you must have had one.
Every man is a sexist, though.
Even still, I've known plenty of womanizers. Plenty of wonderful men. Okay, but none of them have ever referred to woman as it. Like, just go, ooh, woman, object. Like,
I've seen people I've referred to as it, but they're very special. You see them, you know, there's some it people out there. They're, oh boy, often in prison.
this is the thing, I know someone who found that line really funny, and I asked them why, and they said because it's so absurd that anyone would ever do that. And they thought that there's a chance the show was going for that, and I was like, I really don't think so. I think they're trying to go for he's a sexist. Big old raging sexist.
You mentioned it earlier. People don't know how to write bigotry anymore.
I think so. I think that he's a clown character. He's not actually, like, interesting in any way. And he's the punching bag. You see, he comes up a couple times.
Good job.
But then her friend is like, oh my god, be a superhero. And then she's like, I've not racked up good debt while nailing my degrees to become a vigilante.
That is for billionaires and narcissists. And adult orphans. Yeah,
You could show
It's weird that she's shitting on people when in universe they've saved like near countless lives, about as close to countless as you can get after Endgame.
I mean, I suppose after Multiverse of Madness, an infinite amount of lives.
Maybe she doesn't know about that, but
Maybe she
That's
does.
going to come up, though, in episode 4.
Yeah, I
That's gonna come up.
suppose.
That's true.
Yeah, you could show just a mod. You could not be a bitch for 2 seconds and show a modicum, a tiny little, itty bitty little amount of reverence to the people who lost a great deal. I know they probably weren't catcalled once by a construction site, but they did maybe have some things that they had to deal with.
It was always felt
sacrifices were made.
Felt especially weird since she's directly related to the guy who brought back billions of lives.
Who personally brought back trillions of people. That's,
feels weird.
They do suck, though. They do suck a great deal.
She also doesn't want to be in the Avengers because she doesn't know if they have health care or pension.
So before we get into that, I was going to say
I thought this came right after. Okay.
I'm not done with what we just said. So these lines that she says, including the one in episode 1 where she mentioned the whole secret government squad thing, like, we talked about it then, talk about it now. I don't know why she doesn't know more about this. Why doesn't she? Why wouldn't she have looked into this? She's a lawyer. Like, wouldn't she want to be really on the up and up to how this all works when her brother is one of the most famous superheroes ever?
So it's the world building problems in this, where it's ridiculously and absurdly compartmentalized. Where you could just choose, like you're at a buffet, a world building buffet, and you just go to the buffet and go down the line. I want this. Oh no, we're not going to do Scovia, of course. I do want this though, man. We want and we want this, but we want the Book of Chance. We got to reference that. Yep, and everything else just stays. It's a world building buffet.
It would have been a cool way to introduce her as, like, one of Bruce gets in some form of trouble where he's pulled about some legal trouble he may end up in, and then that's how we first meet her, is that she's the talented lawyer in the family, and she's very hyper aware of all the ways that, you get through a confidently executed case, all of the context for how a lot of these things go.
Bruce, he's a mighty hero, but there's something he needs help with, and that's what I can help with.
He's a scientist, he's a lawyer, and it sucks because, like, instead we have her randomly sort of alluding to how she has no clue how any of the thing would... Because we said before, she refers to them as a government squad, which wasn't the case, at least up until...
When he was part of it.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense to refer to him that way. But we never really got comfort. Like, sure, after you get the Accords, and then it's like, so they split half and half. It was weird for her to refer to the Avengers as the government squad unless that's what it was until Infinity War. And they weren't secret, yeah. But then, like, you have, Falcon does contract work, question mark, I think. Falcon Winter Soldier had him doing that, but he wasn't paid for it or something. Remember, like,
it's the world building buffet.
Yeah, it's hard for me to figure out what the hell is going on with any of it. I don't know. I turned Factorio off like about 10 minutes ago. Don't worry about it.
Oh, they played it.
They're further behind in the stream when the Factorio music was on, which was nice music. But when you comment on it, the music goes away. So there you go, chat. That's what you get.
It's I'll bet that's a lot of hallucinations though. Once you start commenting on it, it goes away.
So, yeah, this is all very frustrating to hear. But then saying specifically that it's for narcissists, I don't even know why mention adult orphans. I guess because it's funny.
I don't know.
Because it's so, like,
Funny. Comedy.
That's kind of a jerk thing.
It is a jerk thing to say.
Yeah,
Especially if it's supposed to go
because it's meta humor. I don't know.
Okay, think about
what it says about it.
he very likely is like referring to a lot of them, including I was just thinking the Peter Parker of the MCU universe, who would have lost his mum, his dad, and then his surrogate father in Uncle Ben and mother, and then again his father figure in Tony. Like he's lost 5 technically parents and guardians. Like
Tony, I mean, jeez.
And some of them were
We don't wanna get into that.
directly related to his superhero endeavors. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's just but all right, fine, Jen. Keep it up. Wonderful. But yeah, what she then says is, do they even get healthcare, maternity leave, or a pension? Do they even get paid?
which as we've now learned in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the answer is no. There was no pension for the Avengers by Tony Stark.
I wonder if they're even aware of that as a reference, because doesn't he ask straight up, and then he says, no, it's not. It doesn't work that way, or something. That was Falcon's
Well,
answer.
we saved the world.
We want to tell, so we can't have it.
You could go to McDonald's and flip burgers for minimum wage, but saving the universe, I mean, it's not like paying work. It's not like a productive.
You end up with the boys. If you don't pay them via like government stipends or through Tony's, then you just get the boys, but they go for promotional shit. Even birthday parties. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I heard there was a party.
I mean,
Scarlet
imagine
Witch at a birthday party.
when Tony saves the entire universe and Hulk, and then you're just one of the guys, like Ant-Man, Falcon, or even Rocket Raccoon, you were fighting alongside. People would want to interview the fuck out of you for the fact that you worked with them alone, not even for what you did. Just to be like, tell me about Tony Stark. What did he say? What did he do? What, everything. You'd be like, oh man, he was so great. They do it in The Boys. Like that's what I mean. It's just no attempt to try and be realistic. And I don't even think The Boys does a good job. So, yeah. Tony did pay for Hulk's facility.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Never
However,
forget.
you cannot even get a loan if you're in the Avengers.
No, because
clearly favoritism.
No, because he got blipped, right? Even though the hyper... I don't even want to get into it. That fucking shows.
God damn it.
She gets some bad news.
Oh no.
Very unfortunate. Oh my goodness. The DA's office it lets her know the case has been thrown out due to a misfire.
Yep. Which I guess she didn't know about because I guess she wasn't there when that happened.
Right, yeah, so we'll have to take this in super slow motion, okay? So, before he even talks to her about anything, if we had talked about what would happen as a result of what Titania did, probably mistrial, yeah, because everything's been compromised, like, in terms of the court case. So it's just like, that makes some sense, yes. Okay, so that's not going to be a shock, and Jen should know that as a lawyer. She should probably include in the fact. Well, I'm not saying it for that reason, I'm saying that in concept alone, she should be like, so there's probably going to be a mistrial. She's convinced the case is won, not a mistrial. So, these things are very important. Someone should just make a video about how much of an awful lawyer she is.
Even episode 4, it is remarkable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's kind of incredible.
There's so many references for how poorly she understands the situation, and how poorly she argues cases and prepares her witnesses, as well as her information. We'll get to all the examples, but just flagging them up as we go. But yeah, so he comes in to say that there's a mistrial, and she's like, what? It's just like, yeah, you should probably have figured that out. But again, as Ring just mentioned, that's something that gets, like, officially done with all the participants of the actual case involved. When it's, like, determined.
Yeah, people argue for it, and people will argue against it, you know? Like, if you want to... You're meant to be there. Like, why would you not be there?
That was bizarre. And then he says, it's your fault that we got the mistrial. Which is weird. It's like, what?
That's one way to phrase it. Not how I would phrase it.
Yeah.
It's like, because of course, if she wasn't there, Tate would have been thrown in the whole jury and killed them. So I think that would have ended the case. I think
that would have
jumping in to save lives. I think that was the correct decision.
Well, this is why we gotta zoom in and go so slow, because there's so many problems all at once, several between each line. Like, it's a mistrial regardless of her actions, but I don't even know why.
Yeah, like, the fact that she, and, like, to blame her, because I think the argument that was later presented by the other lawyer guy was, well, you saved them, so that made them prejudiced in favor of you.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that's one of many factors.
Yeah, I suppose that is a byproduct of being saved in your lives, yeah.
But, like, that's not her fault. That's stupid.
To be fair, they clarified that. She said, "Are you suggesting I shouldn't have saved them?" And he's like, "No, you did the right thing, but you're fired."
But you're going to suffer several negative consequences.
To me, it really does feel like the writers are like, "See, she didn't make a mistake, and she still gets shafted by the system."
Oh, it's so hard being a woman and lawyer.
Again, like we gotta back it up a bit. So, she is at the district attorney's office. She's publicly saved many lives, and now she's being fired.
And you fired her.
A massive, like, that's the end of your career. Like that. Like
your office is tainted forever.
Yeah, exactly. Like you are. This is not happening.
Did she sue
like
him for that?
PR disaster.
Probably. You should get a shit ton of public support.
Probably.
Absolutely. The worst thing that you could do is fire her. The worst thing you could possibly do.
It's a double whammy, right? Because on one hand, it's just bad for you in terms of what the response is going to be. She could sue you. You'll get a public outcry. You'll probably lose votes in your next election. The double whammy, though, the aspect is like, you don't understand. You're letting go of a huge asset. She's going to be the world's most famous lawyer. She is a superhero Hulk lawyer. You literally saved your jury in the middle of a case.
The subsequent scene basically says that because she's She-Hulk, she's actually, like, going to very much struggle to get a job, which is absurd.
Yeah, that is absurd.
This doesn't make any sense. This is hard to follow.
Yeah. It's like you can't get... You're in the Avengers, but you don't have money and you can't get a loan.
Lawyers...
like that.
Lawyers can really rack up, like, a cult of personality. There's plenty of famous lawyers people are aware of, and they get hired there in high-profile cases.
In-universe, Jennifer Walters is considered a good lawyer. Now, of course, everything that she does would indicate otherwise, but in-universe, she is recognized as a good lawyer, because later on in the episode, when she gets hired by the new law firm, who were opposite her in the case that got destroyed, he says that she put up a winning case, which is hard to do against this firm. So, like, in-universe, she's recognized as being talented, which, that matters a lot. Being good at your job, like, especially as a lawyer, is important. So, like, the fact that she wouldn't be able to get work when she's not only apparently a pretty competent lawyer, according to the show, and she's got this other aspect to her, and she's got a good public, reception because she saved lives. She's getting hired straight away.
She's getting swarmed with telephone calls.
Absolutely.
She's getting swarmed. Even if she would be a shitty lawyer in universe, they would still hire her just for the image alone.
Yeah, before she was even fired, she'd be getting offers. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Some people are highlighting, like, already. It's like that loss doesn't count for anything. She gets a way better job, like, immediately. And it's just like, oh yeah. So to clarify, like, this sort of comes across as a very truncated, like, How awful the repercussions of living the life as a superhero. Oh no.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything worked out fine. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Before the episodes end, she gets a better, higher-paying job.
Well, and so
It's
the
like
theory...
Rey when she's on the Millennium Falcon and she makes that little mistake with when she's fiddling with the wires or whatever, and it just so happens to
You bypass
close the door at the right.
Oh,
It's where she technically messes up with. She was like fiddling with wires or something on the Millennium Falcon, and it like closes or opens a door that allows Han Solo to. You know what I'm talking about?
no. What are you talking about?
I think it was when you had the Blargle monsters.
Yeah.
And in The Force Awakens, and she inadvertently, through a mistake, either like opens or closes a door that helps to save. Yeah, something like that.
No, she does that on purpose. She gets to a terminal and accesses it, and then times closing a door to cut the legs off the.
God damn it!
Wrath Tart. Sorry, I know that was back-to-back reasons. Okay.
It was almost like that.
I know you're talking about in terms of concept, but yeah, she...
Yeah.
The funny thing is, no, she was so talented, she knew exactly how to use the console.
I was like, oh no, actually...
I suppose that's better than accidentally doing it all perfectly. I don't even know, whatever. Yeah, it's incredibly annoying to watch, and it kind of makes you start to theorize. You're like, ooh, because they moved Episode 8 to Episode 1, at least the Hulk's portion of it, gotta wonder, was that opening with another couple scenes on top for just setting up in Episode 1 now, setting up her as a lawyer, then the Titania scene, then aftermath of that, and then her losing the job, and maybe the episode ended originally, Episode 1, with like a job offer, and it was like...
I think, I get the impression that Episode 2, along with parts of Episode 1, was meant to be Episode 1. And that this was meant to be the pilot, or at least a huge part of it. But then, because they changed their mind, it just messed everything. Because this is the episode that, establishes really the plot, I guess, the actual, formula that the show's going to use. But, yeah, who knows, really.
That's what I mean about the theorizing. That's what I meant about removing the Hulk portions of Episode 1, keeping everything that's not that.
Rey tries to close the doors on the gangs and releases the Wrath Tars.
Oh, you're talking about that. I thought you meant when she saved Finn. Are you talking about how she intends to help.
Her supposed
by turning
failure.
On the lights. Yeah, then she fails.
The universe turns into a success.
Which does then, result in good stuff for the team.
Task failed successfully.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I thought you meant when the Wrath.
Oh my god.
You see, chat, it wasn't a Brandon moment.
Yeah.
I'm very sharp in my agedness. Listen, I know what it's like to date in your 30s. Is there anything worse than that? No, I say. I say no. Nay, I say.
Nay, what are you, a horse? So, did anyone notice what was on her little iPad-y thing when she was looking at... she was looking at a Swedish village mascot. I guess because they thought that was hilarious as a potential job.
Was it jobs for failed something? I forgot. I know what you mean, I think.
Oh, jobs for fresh start. The more interesting part, I got it on screen, is related articles. Man fights with metal claws in bar.
Oh, that one.
That's seriously a reference to Wolverine and fucking She-Hulk. God's sake. And then
that's something. That's a reference.
Sit down.
Look, it says find Ant-Man at the top.
Oh, that's a QR code. I'm gonna scan that and see what
happens. Oh, yeah, do that. Yeah, scan the QR code, Metal. We can get it takes you straight to the Amazon page for Bad Feminists.
I don't want Wolverine showing up. Okay? Nor do I want it in the MCU. That's my scare with that, okay? But secondly, it says, why is there a giant statue of a man sticking out of the ocean?
Is that the first story other than Eternals to acknowledge that there was a giant celestial just sticking out of the planet?
As someone who has not seen Eternals, seeing that scene was like, wait, we need to clarify. This is just in the ocean?
Real big, too.
Well, he's the type of the planet.
He was a lot smaller than he's supposed to be as well, right?
definitely, if we're talking scaling, yeah, his head should be like the size of China.
Yeah,
like,
the point in which he has managed to breach the fucking crust, like it's over. That should be the way that they show us working.
Yeah, on planets, like there's a giant being in the planet. Like,
it's moving around and like causing massive global cataclysmic earthquakes. Yeah, that's gotta fuck around with like the atmosphere and the
comet. How large was the comet that not the comet, the asteroid that the dinosaurs? How big was that? Like 6 or 7 kilometers long, or am I something like that, right?
The asteroid is 12 kilometers in diameter, about 7.5 miles.
So, like, man, think about how much damage that did when it hit the planet. Now imagine a much, 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 much larger object coming from within, like, emerging from the planet.
It does things. No, that's just the best thing. Well, and so I think this, alongside with a bunch of other references, show the writers of this one, more so than any of the others, are so hyper-aware of what's talked about in terms of these films.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think they think it's cruise control but clever if you have references to meta things.
Yeah, there's nothing clever about it. It's just a reference.
Because if you took this to, was it Chloe Zhao made Eternals?
Yes.
You'd be like, that's not the point of my movie. You'd be like, that's right.
Oh, but it's in.
No, I know. That's kind of what I get that. Like, those kinds of criticisms don't matter to the directors that make them because they're just like, that's not what movie making's for. And you're like, okie dokie.
All right.
But then you have the other movies like acknowledge that as a thing. Like,
yeah, and in a sense,
what's being done about it?
What else the movie's about?
I finally was able to scan that QR code.
Yeah? What'd you get, Metal? I'm so excited.
It sent me to Marvel.com to a She-Hulk thingy. Read a free She-Hulk comic book that inspired the series, streaming exclusively on Disney+. Check back as we provide more exclusive She-Hulk comic books, presented by Marvel Unlimited.
Very cool.
Now I can start a free trial, and I get to read Avengers West Coast Avengers. There you go. Alright, if you want that, scan that. Wait, no, there's more. This is just, I don't know, this is dumb. Anyway, continue.
Well, we got a screensaver there. Captain America's
Captain
that's obligatory. Being allowed to do that both ways,
Unbelievable.
Oh, no. Well, it ain't the only time in the show.
The first few instances of objectification.
Because I have to clarify, just in case somebody, because one of the first responses I get is like, oh, so you know you can't objectify anybody? Like, I just want it to be fair both ways, okay?
Just want it to be fair. I just want us all to be on the same playing field.
No problem with the guy getting his butt out if he really wants to. They do that in Rings of Power, not Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, a whole bunch. Yeah, she's got to go. She was looking for a job, she's not working out right now, so she goes to her family for some dinner. And my god, this dinner scene was absolutely cut down. Like, it would have been, if it were like 5 minutes long originally, it's down to 30 seconds. Like, it's, oh god, it's horrible. The way that the conversations
go. A lot of great Marvel stuff has where, like, every conversation feels like maybe 30-40% longer. And they definitely do the disbands, but, like, there's a lot of the connective tissue of the conversation is not present. Like, everybody jumps to the part that the writers need in that, but they don't build to it or, like, get them there organically.
Well, if I was, like, just randomly talking about the fast way to solve a math problem, and I do it, and then it's complete, and then one of you goes, that kind of reminds me, actually, of my math teacher when I was like hitting it. You used to do this thing on the board, and you just cut that down to, I complete the math problem, then you immediately start talking about the story. You don't set it up, they cut shit like that out. They're so rushing. So, like, to give you an idea, he walks in, and I guess we'll skip over to just when he's like, I told everybody you're fired, so no one will talk about it. Then you have Ched. I think his name is Ched.
Yeah.
Ched. Yeah, C-H-D. That's what it is in the subtitles. I was like, Ched.
I've never heard that name before in my life.
But whatever, fine. Ched. He says, you're fired.
Sure. It's like, Jesus, what are we doing? It's so.
Then it cuts to like a different shot, and clearly to a point of like everybody's further along in the meal. It's just like, big news, I got manager at Best Buy. It's like, oh. And it doesn't feel natural at all. It's just like, you got fired. When it's like, they must have cut out the way you get to there, right? Like, you got fired, you're failing at your job or whatever. Me, on the other hand, big news, I got but instead it just cuts straight to she already feels terrible. Big news, I got manager at Best Buy. It's like, okay. And then there's like the other people like, good, employed and promoted, as if to compare. And then you get the mum, I guess. She's like, oh, Jen, I gave some random person your number. And it's like, wait, now what's happening now? Oh, we did, okay. And then she's like, oh, he's too old to be too young for you. But maybe you can give him advice on being a superhero. And then her dad is like, Jen, does Hawkeye pick up all the arrows after firing them?
Yeah, it's like, what is happening?
And I legit was just like, I'm getting so lost. I don't know if that's like part of the intention, was to be like, oh, isn't it annoying when you go to like your family and they just all want to talk about different things or something? But instead I was just like, do any of them listen to each other? Is anyone talking to each other? It's like, I don't know what's happening.
But they all seem to be just really stupid as well. They all know this just recently happened to her. And then they start asking stupid questions like, do you know these things about the Avengers? It's like, no, of course not.
Yeah, after the Hawkeye comment, someone's like, you need to work on your hair, Jen. It's like, okay.
Oh my god.
And then they all, like, overbearingly just start talking while the camera's just zooming in on her. And again, I was just like, is that really what you were going for? Just the family just talk? They just talk about shit. Everyone's just talking. And then in the middle of all of it, her dad is like, I need you to help me with something before you go. And it just hard cuts to them in the garage. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. I just think it was a really piss-poor way at implying, like, she's unhappy with her family, I guess, because it just makes me assume all good things about it. It's just like, or that it was just cut in such a way to make these people look worse than they actually are, because I just don't believe people talk this way. But, okay, in and amongst all the comments, though, and I noticed, I don't know if you guys did, thanks to the subtitles that we got this, someone says, you know, Bruce is the one that actually saved billions of people with a snap of his fingers. What a strange thing to say. What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
And then I was like, why would that line be in there? Unless they're trying to... Is it the writers trying to show how Jen is being compared with Bruce? And that's unfair? And like, that's it. It's like, because having the word actually in there, as if to imply she had implied that because she saved people at the jury, that she's like a good superhero, when someone else is just going like, well, you didn't save billions of people. You know what I mean?
That's not something anyone would say.
No, it's not. It's a really fucking weird comment. And I was just like,
Bizarre.
What is going on? Why who write this? Why?
Well, that's a lot of the conversations and just all the dialogue in this is just, that's just not something people would say. People would not say that.
And yeah,
that exists only for a show.
The conclusion I could grasp was just like, oh man, don't family suck. It's just like, okay, if that's what you wanted to write, I guess.
God, my fucking technology is so childish. Jesus. I literally just went to charge the goddamn laptop. Come on, dude. It's not like you died. Good lordy.
Is it the writers are trying to show how Jen is being compared with Bruce?
Do it all behind the wheel of a capable new Kia SUV. Whatever your next adventure, the award-winning Kia lineup of SUVs can take you there. Whether it's the top-of-the-line Telluride, the ultra-versatile Sorento, the fun and functional Sportage, or
Bruce, and that's unfair.
I agree.
And like that's it. It's like because having the word "actually" in there, as if to imply she had implied that because she saved people at the jury, that she's like a good superhero, when someone else is just going like, "Well, you didn't save billions of people." You know what I mean?
That's not something anyone would say.
No, it's not. It's a really fucking weird comment. And I was just like,
Bizarre.
why who write this? Why?
Well, that's a lot of the conversations and just all the dialogue in this is that's just not something people would say. People would not say that.
And yeah,
that exists only for the show.
And the conclusion I could grasp was just like, oh man, don't family suck? It's just like, okay, if that's what you wanted to write, I guess. That's it. Family saying this to it. If family saying a bunch of stuff, the first thing her mum says is like, oh, you gotta watch your waistline. And it's just like, do any of them say anything nice to her this whole time?
No.
Except
we gotta put her
one
down.
or two nice things.
We gotta put her down a bit. She's only a successful, attractive, insanely powerful superhero in a world that loves her now. We gotta, it's tough. It's tough.
Hey,
It's tough.
the one thing I'll give the show, Tyler, was he suggests in front of her dad that maybe she should have let all the people die, and instead of saying maybe, he says, no, you shouldn't say that. You passed the test, everyone. You passed
He did
the
not
test.
directed by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's She-Hulk attorney at law.
Maybe. Oh, God.
Give them all.
I love how much that gets memed these days. Yeah, and so this line didn't hit very well for me. He said, and they laugh, or smile, whatever, this isn't even the first time we've had to deal with a Hulk in the family, and you didn't destroy a city.
Man.
So, why doesn't that sit well with me? Well, either he's referring to Harlem, or he's referring to Johannesburg. Harlem, the Hulk was unleashed to save the world from a raging abomination, after the government was trying to kill him a whole bunch. If you remember, he says, I kind of broke Harlem, as a reference to Harlem in Avengers.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's referring to that. If it's Johannesburg, I would seriously caution him to ever fucking reference Johannesburg in reference to what the Hulk did, if he knows the context. That would be one of the most sensitive subjects in his life.
I know. Doesn't mean he's as much like, this is his uncle, right?
You'd think,
The world should know.
oh yeah, there would have to have been some level of a statement about that, and that's actually something of a whole, I would argue. You can't get away with that. And it's, so it would be like the Hulk's got to go away or something. And it's like, no, actually, the Scarlet Witch forced him to do it, or tricked him into doing it. And it's like, so what's going to happen to her then?
Right.
But of
no matter
course,
what, right, there's got to be consequences.
I think, does Johannesburg show up on the Civil War? The
It
dots?
does, I think.
I think that would be.
I think it does.
That would probably be as close to an explanation as we'll get. That we're gonna address that. So, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like treating that event as like, oh, you didn't even destroy a city. It's like,
Yeah, that's good, because that's a terrible thing. That's a really bad thing to happen.
So
You didn't know this.
she's sad, and she goes to a bar and has some drinks. Sad, sad, sad. Worst ever life ever.
This is the worst day ever, really.
And I thought it was really funny that in the bar, on the TV, an episode of Ally McBeal is playing.
Right, it's like, yes.
They, obviously for the reference, but it's just like, what the fuck? What bar is playing Ally McBeal? Like, no, it's not happening.
The Marvel bar.
What do you
The
like?
MCU
It's not even.
bar.
That's some shit you'd have to like personally request and bring your own old ass DVDs like to get them to play. There's no way that's on TV right now, or at least like
There's no sports playing, so we play Ally McBeal.
I just
That's what you do.
I just don't know how many bars are playing Ally McBeal. That's just a good prejudice.
It's a regional thing.
But yeah, so the guy who was actually in the courtroom when Titania attacked, like the boss of what was the firm called? Do you remember something in K or
I
else?
don't
Bunch of letters.
something like that. It's called the super law firm or something.
But yeah, this just adds more to the bizarre. So he's like, Miss Walters, you laid out a winning case, which is very difficult to do against us. Come work for us. And you're just sort of like, huh. And then she says to him, you got me fired, and now you want to hire me?
He did. He got her fired. Yep, that was him.
PA fired you.
Such
and
a
also
frustrating line.
He was working in the interest of his client, like he's doing his job.
Yeah, she should not only respect
that's
the fact that if the mistrial is valid, then it's valid. There's nothing more to it. It's not like it's done for revenge. And then, on top of that, just the fact she's a lawyer saying all this. If it was just an average person saying it, you could have some leeway. She's a fucking lawyer. How does she not know about this stuff? And then she's like, you got me fired, now you want to hire me. When he just said, you beat us, I want you to work for us. And then she's like, you got me fired. It's like, oh god, but take the win when it is presented in front of you.
But being superhero is so hard, usually.
But yeah, and then again, by the way, this is all stuff on top of the fact she's a bad lawyer. He's like, do you want to take the job? And then she's like, only if I can hire my own paralegal. Of all the things you could do for leverage, of all the things you could find out about your job, of all the just before agreeing, you know what I mean? She disagrees.
Well, yeah, because as we later find out, like she didn't fully understand what she was agreeing to.
Exactly. Now, once again, a lot of people may do this. The lawyer, they're like hyper aware of how this shit works. But no, she's just an idiot.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, fine, go. And then she's like, oh, what? This isn't what I wanted.
Yeah, man, that's annoying.
And for those
I
who
don't
don't
know how
know,
much being paid. Like,
exactly, yeah. And that's what I mean about, like, privileges or benefits. The only thing she requests is hiring her own paralegal. And he says, like, I literally don't care. And it's just like, oh, yeah, you didn't even get anything, really. Like, there's nothing you requested. And she just accepts anyway. He's very, very not her own best friend, let's just put it that way.
Well, so I guess they just got a hold of Nikki over the weekend, no problem. She was just able to.
Yeah, it's whatever. So when
with it.
Nikki, because that's the best friend you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's Nikki. Yeah.
So he wasn't fired theoretically, but she's just going to transfer over to a different law firm now.
Contracts do not exist.
I guess she might be getting paid more money, I guess.
That's still pretty serious, though.
Well, yeah, right, like, did you quit your job without... I'm sure you had to give them notice, right? Like,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
They just grab her. She's just in the office when Jen gets there. It's like, oh, how did that happen?
Yeah, you're right. That's really stupid. But who cares? Nikki's not a character. More of a...
Oh
no, she's not a
positive
character. She
reinforcement.
basically... Yeah, essentially. She... Like, that's the only reason she exists. She doesn't really have much to say about herself or in her life, or, like, she's just there to affirm Jen.
Yeah, it's no unreal how much they wanted to write, like, a fun show about this, that, the other. It's just like how much lore we've had to go over already. By the way, I'm a lawyer, and it's unacceptable that this level of, like, ineptitude has been done with the law, but you can accept that, you can expect that they would get, like, very nitty-gritty specifics wrong. With maybe jurisdictions or even
they're getting the basics, like, they just don't.
If you do a law show and someone like me watches this, has no idea of law, and it's like, this doesn't seem right. I have no idea what's going on, but I don't feel this is right. And then you do two Googles, and it's like, oh, that wasn't right.
Have they covered the twerking yet? No. Yeah, she finds out when she gets there that the thing she didn't want to be true is just, he's like, you gotta look like She-Hulk whenever you're working here. You gotta go to be She-Hulk mode. She's like, wow. Yep, that's the reason I'm hiring you, very much.
He is now going to be the head of the superhuman law division, and then begins another fourth wall break where she's like talking about how much she hates that this is why she's totally qualified for the job, but they're only going to think she got it because of this. Like, so that doesn't. So like if you do your job here and you do it well, like people aren't going to think that anymore.
He already hired her because she made a winning case.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but I
true,
guess
but
he's
she is
just saying,
correct
like,
in that people will assume she was hired for
Oh, okay,
She-Hulk.
yeah.
However,
They will.
that is true.
But once she knows that she's good at that is true. That's exactly. So there is that.
Yeah.
He's kind of on a few levels. It seems like a weird sort of observation.
It feels like so much is not being addressed, or that the writers are unaware. It's like you wrote it so that he only wanted to hire her for the way she looks, right? That's specific. He wants to have the publicity of She-Hulk is leading the superhero division for his company, such a law firm, whatever. And then she's just like, oh, that's fuck bullshit. People will think that's why you hired me. I don't understand. I'm listening to that as an audience member, like, but you said it is. What do you mean? And then Freeney's correct. All she has to do is be a good lawyer.
Well, yeah, right. Like if she's losing cases and screwing everything up, like what good is it going to be to them? Like whatever personality, like public-facing personality she has, if she can't do her job. At the end of the day, she's got to be competent in what she does, and if she is, which the show says she is, then there shouldn't be a problem. I don't know. Like just take what you can get. For some reason, the world decided that you can't get a job. For some reason.
Yeah, for some reason, exactly.
Take what you can get.
And then you can prove yourself when you're there. You're in now. You can now prove yourself.
Also, this weird moment, on top of everything we just said about how bad this line is, or bad this thought is, she's just such a stupid character on top of being an asshole. He says, explicitly, essentially, that they only hired me for being She-Hulk. People think I'm not qualified. It's so unfair. These dodos never had to deal with this on their first day. And she's looking over at a room filled with men, laughing. And it's like, you know what you just said? You said those guys never had to deal with people thinking they were hired for something superficial. So the people had to believe they were hired for their skill. So,
That sounds like a really good opportunity to prove your value.
I just don't understand why does that make them lesser, that they would have been seen as hired for their skill rather than the way they look.
It's specifically all white men in that room, right?
Yes.
Are there any? Okay, well.
I don't understand what the fuck she thinks she's saying, that they never had to worry about people thinking that they weren't hired for their skill while I have to, and it's just like, you weren't hired for your skill, they likely were.
Yeah, they probably worked really hard and spent years and years and years and years of their lives and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears at lawyering in order to be able to be in that role.
You don't know who they are.
Absolutely.
They're white men.
And it's such a poorly written moment, because as far as what I can tell the show is saying is, fuck those guys for working harder than me. I just don't understand. Like, okay.
It's almost like you wonder if she's thinking, why can't I be given free stuff? It's almost like the weird read on it is that how come I have to...
I think that it's watched. The point that they were getting at is that she is like, damn man, like, to me this could have just been like an unequivocally good opportunity, but like now I recognize that the reason why I got this job, even though I think I'm good enough that I could have earned this job through merit, I got it because of this She-Hulk thing. That's lame and I'm going to have to deal with that at work. I think that's what they were trying to get at.
Yeah, they're saying that they never had to deal with that, but she does. People are going to look at her and think, you weren't hired for your skill, were you? When they never had to deal with that. But if you accept that as true, then it also has to be true that they actually were hired for their skill then. If there was never any concern about them being hired for any other reason, that's likely why they were hired. Is that, like, and again, she says it like derogatorily toward them. She does nothing about that.
We gotta shut him out permanently. He goes fishing out of his boat near the lighthouse on Portland Rock this night. Stay on, please.
Yeah, but they're white men.
It's causing issue in terms of just me being able to like her. Like, wow, you're kind of an ass. Keep getting references piling on, which is not good.
She's so busy breaking the fourth wall, but she wasn't listening to what the guy who had to say.
Yeah, which was weird, because then he says, like, what do you think? And she says, I'm agnostic.
Just kind of a bit confused by that.
Yeah, he says, interesting, unprecedented.
Yes. That would probably be an unprecedented response to that question.
Well,
Hopefully it's true there.
But then if it were because she just says I'm going to worry for the rest of my year about what that was, I was just, why don't you just do what a normal person would do and be like, oh wait, sorry, what did you say? I might have heard you wrong.
Sorry, I was just overwhelmed. I was looking at all of the things around me in the office.
Sorry, I was talking to them.
You think a lawyer might be good at something like that?
No. I think a lot of things about this show and how it should be, but...
Right, so here's a second reference to a demon friend. Like, she walks in the office and she's like, guess what, they only want me for the She-Hulk part of me. How fucked up is that? The friend's like, yeah, but look at what we have. Look at this. We got a fridge. We got a really nice office. And it's just like, wow, you didn't listen to her at all, did you? Like, this is what I mean about, like, again, I just see this as poor writing, because I'm pretty sure the writers of the show are like, wouldn't you love a friend like this? She's like a vibe increaser. She's going to keep you going. She's always going to be there for you having fun. But it's like, no, she's a horrible friend. She doesn't listen to anything Jen says. And she always looks to see what she can benefit out of all of this. She's talking about herself having fun, by the way, with those drinks, that office as well. Like, you gotta get a better friend. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
And then we meet Guy. I forget his name.
Pug. His name is
Pug.
Pug.
This is the law team for the show.
This is one of the people on Law Division. Yeah, the Superhuman Law Division.
Yeah, he's gonna be with Jen, who's gonna be with the paralegal. This is our, like, little dream team who sometimes work together, sometimes don't. And then we'll have cameos. Seems to be what they're going for,
Yeah.
question mark?
Seems to be.
Then he says, like, here's where you need to go for the toilet that's best for pooping in.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed reactions to this. I don't know what to make of it. I find that really fucking weird myself, but,
I don't.
Yeah, it implies that there is a very clear and distinct, like, hierarchy of toilet quality in this establishment. Like, some of them don't work, or they're broken.
Fancy law office.
I don't
Yeah,
even,
I'd be like, wait, some of them not work.
well, but
How do you, wait, how do you know?
wouldn't that be the way that you would want to introduce that information, though? Wouldn't you want to be like, hey, pro tip, there are 3 toilets on this floor, 2 of them, unless you want to avoid them, just trust me on that, okay? That would be the kind of way you don't hand them a thing and you say, this is the poop toilet.
Yeah, but there's a little map on it, so it's really cute.
But, like, the look they give him, my impression was that it was supposed to be maybe the character thinks, like, this is helpful, but the show is like, yeah, but that was weird.
So he tells her this, but how informed is he on the state of the women's bathroom?
That's a good question. I guess the unisex, I don't fucking know. It's not very strange. It's a strange moment. I don't know if the show wanted us to find him endearing from this, or if it was funny. I don't know. It's weird. Wherever I go to work, I would never give him a poop guide, but maybe that's my loss.
First strategy, you need to figure out the optimal toilets.
So
No one wants to poo in a subpar toilet. That's just a given.
oh yeah, by the way, she acknowledges the huge pay increase, and then she's like, I'm gonna need like a whole other wardrobe.
It's like, well, yeah, let's buy one.
Gosh, I hope you can make it.
I feel like it would be low on the list of things to talk about.
It's almost like if I gave you a bag of gold, you'd complain it was heavy.
Hey, you could probably actually put that in your things you wanted to get the job. Well, because if she would have known that she has to be She-Hulk, then it's like, oh, well, then you gotta buy me all this wardrobe, because I'm gonna pay for
Hell
it
yeah.
myself.
That could have been something. It would have made some sense.
That
She
she
see
could've
if she was intelligent, and they had said before hiring her that that was going to be a requirement in the contract, whatever.
Yeah.
She can be like, if you're going to force me to do that, it's going to cost me loads of money to do this, that, and the other, and get that in the contract. But no, from what we can tell, she just went, I agree. Woo! Oh.
You know what, I think Holloway, I think is his name.
By the way,
He probably would have been like, yeah, I don't care, just do it.
had she refused to do that, he wouldn't have hired her, by the way. So that's still a choice she made. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can argue that, oh, well, but she had no other choice. And I should be like, well, that's not necessarily true, is it? Especially if this law firm is willing to hire her for her She-Hulkiness. Maybe another law firm would. But they don't require
Getting a job is...
helpful.
I mean, I guess if the show's trying to pass off the concept that she totally can't just go get a million other jobs right this very second,
But that was
then
actually
she would
something
think
that
that
her friend suggests, like a fast food restaurant or something, but it's dismissed, and it's like, I mean, that is still an option,
it's
obviously.
an option. It's silly that you have to even entertain that, but it is an option.
And I would just go as far as saying that there's an awkwardness there for the character to be like, isn't it fucked up that they're hiring me just for my She-Hulkness? Like, agreed. You didn't have to. You could leave at any time.
You could have said no, or let me think about it.
So it's what's the reference I'm thinking of? Where it's just like, I'll take your money, and you're evil, sort of thing, and it's just like.
Isn't that Futurama or something?
I was thinking of Fry, and I was like, is that? Am I on?
It sounds like a Fry thing.
Yeah, help us out. Is there any? Or is it Homer?
Yeah.
Unless that's Simpson. Well, if you can help out.
Sounds like it would be.
Maybe it was Bender. Yeah, it might be Bender.
Bender could do it as well. Yeah, they're all characters that I can see doing this.
Yeah, Homer.
Just not quite shut up and take my money. I was more so thinking about like a moment where the character recognizes taking the money would be like accepting that your criticism of them is kind of weak if you're going to take their money, and they do anyway. Because I know that Homer becomes like Mr. Burns' like little clown for a whole episode where he'll just do anything he wants him to do for money.
Oh yeah, like, and then he throws pudding at Lenny's side. Ow, my eye! I'm not supposed to get pudding in it. And then he throws it at Carl. I was like, what are you doing? That's Carl!
Carl!
Takes the eye wash machine and then glass at him.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I'll take your money, but I'm not going to plow your driveway. Yeah, that's the Mr. Plow shit, right? Because he's pissed off that the Plow King has plowed Flanders' yard, and he's just like, okay, I'll pay you to do it too. And he's like, I'll take your money, but I'm not going to plow your drive. That might be the reference. It's not quite what I was looking for, but it's still funny as fuck. Anyway,
Yeah.
we get so like her boss is not an interesting character, unfortunately. He's just evil. We catch it, and they let us know this by having this line where he says, "Let Carrington go and tell Bob he's going to Minneapolis because he hates the cold."
Yeah, okay.
He's just an asshole. There's no other purpose.
He's probably still the best person for it.
Nope. Doing it because he's an asshole.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Very funny.
That is in their defense.
So then he's like, "You got to go for the Emil Blonsky case," and she's like,
So I guess run through it first, sure.
"Yeah." She's like, "I can't do that. Conflict, interest. He tried to kill my cousin." And then he goes, "You waved it. Take the case, or you're fired."
Oh, I guess the first thing that's worth addressing: Emil Blonsky up for parole? No way. No way.
Shit.
Absolutely not. No way.
I think we might want to catch everyone up. Like,
Yeah, I guess
again, on this
dude, that is
because
downright
it's been a
bull
while.
at this point, isn't it? Because it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
So Emil Blonsky is the abomination. He caused a lot of havoc when he went to Harlem. He destroyed that place and he killed a lot of people. And the reason why he had the super serum, why did he use it again? Like, what was the context that brought that about?
So in the film, he
It was
contractually
insane.
agrees with Ross to be experimented on and given these abilities. And he even says, like, if this goes too far, you have to be pulled out. You agree? And he said, yeah, of course. He wants to be as powerful as the Hulk. He wants to be a super duper duper soldier. That's the movie. And Emil Blonsky, he's kind of a smart guy. He's ruthless, and he eventually goes kind of nuts and just wants more and more of anything he can get.
Yeah.
He eventually injects the Hulk's blood, right? Isn't that what he does? Something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, sounds about right.
And then the concoction of chemicals and stuff, it turns him into an abomination. It's like,
He just destroys Harlem, and he kills a lot of people. I mean, he's a villain. Now, that he would be up for parole after like 15 years? No way. He's not eligible for parole in his lifetime. There's no way. Like, the sentence he would have gotten would have precluded him from like that within his lifetime. It's insane. So he's not up for parole.
The Blonsky
I guess we
parole
have
is presumably set up by Valentina / Thunderbolt Ross from the Thunderbolts. The thing, he's not in the Thunderbolts yet, right? The announced cast, he's not in it.
Now know that he's not in that, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so...
what does that mean? He set it up. It's like, what was his sentence? What was the sentence?
And I would say that even if that were the case, that context would need to be in this. You need to have that moment where they're like, how could his parole be put through? And then it's like, higher ups of blah blah blah, or even mention Ross as being pushed through or something. But there's nowhere near enough context for that. This the way they portray it is that he's on good behavior, and so it's being considered.
Yeah. Being considered, even though it would have been a part of his sentence, like the possibility of parole and when.
Well,
depending on what he was convicted of.
Yeah, because one of the things he brings up as part of entertaining parole is that this was none of it was his fault. Like, why wasn't this brought up before?
Yeah, you mean that everything that happened, with
she, if you remember, she has a lawyer moment where she's like, wait a minute, are you suggesting that you were under the influence of the chemicals and it was not your choice to do these things? Which, by the way, doesn't really come up in the rest of it. It's much more about Wong.
Yeah.
It's because I think at the end of episode 2 we're supposed to just accept. We're meant to accept the conclusions that have been drawn by the show, which is he is up for it and he has a real chance of getting it because he's reformed, and just ignore every other question that you would have about him and how he'd be eligible for it and how you would argue it.
Yeah, she says the serum caused the subsequent actions, as though it's going to be relevant, but that never comes up again.
That's true.
No, I think that it's resolved and settled.
We have to. Maybe
remember,
he's not all that evil after all. That's our first.
Didn't they say the initial plan with Blonsky was a 3-episode case?
But they didn't know how to write compelling legal drama and corporate drama.
Yeah,
so
I wonder if that's
compelling anything.
I wonder if that's a remnant of when they were going to be trying to use that as part of getting a reduced sentence or something.
Yeah, I imagine that once the idea of Abomination was floated, Kevin Feige was like, yeah, we'll get him in, that'll be people like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, we'll have a story to tell with him, which...
Realize now I jumped a little bit too far because something stupid happens before that. When she's on her way to the prison... Yeah, but... Oh, sorry, I've jumped ahead of that. So, she's... So she's like, nah, I can't. And he's like, you can because Blonsky waived the bias. It makes you wonder why does he want her so much?
I guess we're probably gonna Well, no, we probably should have found out in episode 3 why he wanted her.
We never did, yeah. And maybe we will in future. But if the reason really is that he thought that she was the best lawyer to get him off, that's gonna be so fucking annoying considering how she actually did it.
Well, I mean, considering that this is your whole life, you probably wouldn't want to take that risk, right?
No, but the Carrington guy says, sorry, not Carrington. What's the name of? You remember the name of your boss? The old dude. Holloway. Sorry, yeah. He says Blonsky wanted you specifically.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, right?
That'll be more relevant, presumably.
They could have had She-Hulk on the team. They didn't need to have, her directly representing him. But apparently Blonsky, wouldn't refuse any other thing.
Well, if she was part of the team that was working on it, still would be the same problem of conflict of interest.
No, sorry. What I mean is Blonsky is asking for her to just be number one. She could be in the office, is what I'm suggesting. While someone else does all of the.
As long as there's enough compartmentalization within the office to prevent her from being involved, sure. Unless he wanted her specifically, which he did.
No, I'm not saying it gets rid of the conflict. I'm saying that Blonsky was asking that she be the number one and just doing everything, which is weird. Why? Why does he want that so much?
Maybe it's got to be for the plot, right? Surely. Or did they just want those two pairs together and they didn't care how we got there? Yeah, but maybe he'll come back. He's definitely coming back.
He's coming back, yeah, but I don't know if they're going to talk about that anymore, are they?
Well, I mean, we know that the plot beat has to do with her blood, right? After episode 3, so maybe he's involved in that. Maybe
what I'm saying is I don't know if they'll have anything more on why did you choose me as your lawyer. I feel like we're done with that.
Yeah, that's all we got. I'm pretty sure that's all we got.
In this case, I guess, I could see it being as simple as they just wanted those two. They wanted her to interact with him, and that was just a barrier they had to get past. And this is probably something that's worth highlighting right now. one of the things that should be on Jennifer's mind at the moment in terms of resolving this conflict of interest is, you know, your job is essentially to act in the best interest of your client and, like, advance their interests as best as possible. The whole point of, like, conflict of interest as a thing is to ensure that that's what you're doing, and that there aren't things that are going to get in the way of you acting in the best interest of your client and doing your job diligently for them. So, like, from her perspective, the important part of resolving this conflict of interest should be essentially resolving that issue so that she can best do her job and not be encumbered by any biases that she has against him. As we progress through the episode, it will be pretty clear that that is not, like, her priority.
I mean, we've already shown from the previous scene, we saw her showing bias against people in a boardroom. Like, that's not a very lawyer thing to walk in.
Oh, well, sure, but I mean, I guess you can be biased personally as long as it doesn't affect you in your job, right?
Yeah,
but
that is
I get
true.
What you mean. I get what you mean.
It's not a good indication of her character if she lets biases fuck her up on the average
What?
day-to-day basis.
Not a good indication of her
But
character, Mahler.
was for me, I probably made it clear I'm not a big fan of Jen Walters so far.
What?
I'm sure it'll
No,
go
me neither.
No.
Yes, definitely, yes, she will.
Yeah, so that's why they send her to the prison. He's like, go and meet Emil and then decide if you want to take the case. She's okay. But yeah, that's why she ends up talking to him, and he talks about how
Wait, no, let's get past the fact that when she goes to the prison, they're like, no powers, and then she transforms into a human. It's like, oh, but she still has powers. She can transform
No.
at any time.
No, she's unpowered herself. It's fine. It's
that's
just
pretty
like
retarded.
it's just like when they say no firearms, and so you turn in your gun before you go into the saloon. It's just like
In this case, it's just you disable, you just, I don't know, you uncock it and then just walk.
I was gonna say you could argue it's like, oh, it's like putting the safety on. It's like it's not really anything close. It's not anything. You can turn that
Nothing's
on and
changed.
off. Yeah, like it's
on
nothing.
that
Like
level. Yeah.
so, yeah, it's super awkward to me that it's just like can't have superpowers while you're in here. It's like she still has it, whatever.
Well, but now they don't have to CGI it, so it's not as expensive.
Seems very arbitrary, but yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the other huge issue with that part that I almost forgot, gosh darn, is that they have to make her sign a thing about how if she dies here, they're not at fault.
And then she doesn't read it.
She doesn't read it. She's being a lawyer. You don't even know what you just signed away.
Also, that should have been presented to her, like, well before she was right at the door.
Yeah, that probably should have been sent to her with a package before she even...
Should have been sent to her by email at the very least, so that she could look at it before she went there, rather than right when she arrived.
And I actually enjoy there's one thing here where she makes a reference to Hannibal Lecter, because I guess she's just such a fun-loving gal, and the guard just says, ma'am, this is a prison. And I was just like, hey, that's nice. Like, they're appropriately taking this seriously for that guy, but of course, he's probably seen as a wet blanket by the show. So anyway, yeah, that's when she starts talking to Emil, and they do a very, it's like, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, and he goes, you know, namaste. Like, see, he's chill now.
He's chill.
That's just become the stereotypical I am chill and at peace. Namaste.
She immediately breaks the one rule they gave her, by the way. She steps over the line.
Which is step over the line. That was the one thing they told her not to do, and she did it.
Yeah, but isn't it funny?
I don't even... But it makes you wonder sometimes, like, what is the point of doing that? What does it help? Doesn't that anything up? It's intelligent. She just fucked that up for a moment there. It's like, okay.
Good job. I think you're an idiot now.
Fine. But yeah, he just starts talking about, he's like, I was under direct orders for the government. I was given a bunch of chemicals and serums. I was hoping I'd become the next Captain America. I was decorated. I was sent out there to take out a threat, and now look at me. Like, he's doing like a sob story, and it's so bizarre to me, 'cause it's like, bro, the government would have noted everything about you, because you worked for them, and they would have had it all. Ross isn't retarded. He wouldn't have just, like... he could be a little bit retarded, depending. But like,
a little bit. This universe now.
It's just frustrating because like he would have had everything in place to make sure that this would never be possible. That he could just argue like the government screwed me over. and then they release him as a result. Like, that's never going to happen.
That's funny because I didn't see the movie, so I had to do a little bit of research. So, what actually happened? Because for a moment, I was like, that could be an interesting thing they could do. You know what? I'm kind of on board. Then I did minimal research. I was like, that's horse shit. What are you saying? So, good job.
Well, part of this that's confusing is, I guess we'll know by the end of the season, is how much of this we're supposed to be like, he's lying about everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, how is he getting away with it?
And how can you tell what the writer's intention are if it's all bad?
True.
This would be a well-documented case, Emil Blonsky. There'd be a lot of information about him, a lot of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what was he convicted of that he's up for parole in like 15 years?
I see what you mean. Like, simultaneously he's there for 15, but he's not there forever. So what was, like...
Well, yeah, like, did he not get, like, 7 life sentences or something? Like, what is his sentence that he's up for parole? Was he going to be released 10 years later anyway? Like, was he just going to be released at some point?
Well, yeah, the amount of time he has served is literally only connected to the fact that they had to look at the dates when the movies came out. That's it.
Pretty much.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's totally a part of the sentence.
In a sense, you could say, what a coincidence it is that, like a week after She-Hulk, as, like, identity has been revealed and she gets into a new law firm, Emil Blonsky, the man who fought Bruce, just so happens to be up for parole.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
That is quite interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Good point.
The show continues to break and crumble, like, as you think about it.
I noticed that, yeah.
You know, as well, it would have been cool to have, like, had a universe like that is something as significant as this character is going away for 10 years. Whoa.
Yeah.
And knowing that, you will eventually get to the point where 10 years have passed, so we'll have to deal with that again once it happens. It's like, alright,
that is true.
That would be a really neat sort of long-term storytelling sort of thing. It's just like, that guy's back out. But, yeah, this
that kind of planning, yeah.
bullshit. Anyway, so, yeah, the implication is like, so are you going to take on Emil or not? And so she feels she needs to ring Bruce first, and she says, like, I can't take on Emil without knowing whether or not you hold a grudge. Everyone deserves a second chance, and you made good arguments, and he was so compelling, I want to believe he's reformed. Which I thought was really interesting. She doesn't bring up at all the most important part of all of this, which is that, well, he's entitled to a defense, right? Like,
yeah.
And whether or not you believe he's reformed made good arguments as to whether or not he's innocent. I mean, that's not going to trump whether or not you want to keep your job, presumably. Like what I mean is, like, it feels like a weird discussion that she's only going to take the job if she believes he's innocent. And if that's true, there's no fucking way she should believe he's innocent.
Well, unless she's incredibly naive.
And so now I'm getting a bit lost. And the thing is, the whole, like...
Said namaste.
The whole representing him properly because it's the law and it's important in the country and stuff, that actually gets brought up in the next episode. In a very, very quick line.
Yeah.
But it's like...
But like in this episode, it's just not even a thing that she's considering as like...
Yeah, she's talking about how...
entitled robust counsel, and I believe that I can do that, and I believe that I've resolved the problems that are going to interfere with my ability to dispense and do my job properly. But that's not part of anything that she says. Yeah.
It's not just the things she says, it's the things she doesn't say. All of that is character.
So it's really annoying to me, because it's like... And then, of course, ringing Bruce to ask if there's a grudge, and she says, like, because you've never talked about it. And I got really annoyed hearing that, because I was like, you apparently have no fucking clue about anything to do with his life, so why would you even try that? Like, yeah, you don't talk about whether or not you had a grudge with him.
I mean, at the very least, Bruce calls her out and just says, you already wanted to take this job. Like, you were going to do it anyway.
Yeah, but it's treated as a fun thing, not an actual criticism.
It shouldn't be treated as... It's kind of a big deal, honestly.
It's just one of them big-headed moments. Yeah, basically, she's not calling him to ask his opinion, she's calling him to tell him she's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But unfortunately, Bruce is cool with Abomination. He sent him a haiku, and it's good.
Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that myself. Like, Blonsky wrote me a heartfelt letter. It's like, okay. He says we put everything behind us. It's like, I don't even If there are fans of the Incredible Hulk movie out there, they're probably annoyed, but
I'm sure they are. It's an abomination like his arch enemy.
I think so. Now we got like Goofy, Soy Hulk, and Namaste Abomination. Have fun with those guys.
That's smart Hulk. I swear she's smart. Smart.
And she says like, "Oh, when you visited next?" And he says, "Well, it won't be for a while." And he's off to space.
He's going probably to Dakar to set up the World War Hulk if that's gonna happen, maybe.
And the episode ends with the realization that yes, she will take the case. However, a video has leaked of Abomination having broken out of prison and fought in some kind of underground crazy thing from Shang-Chi. Whoa!
I'm sure this is all going to make sense.
I want to know is this going to the fact that this leaked now, is that going to be a plot thing later, like and it was Agatha all along thing, and we discover somebody?
I actually don't know if it will be.
I think they're going to forget about it.
Why would that be beneficial? Why would do that? I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're ever going to revisit this. It's just for the story. Oh, it just so happens that right now this video that's been out has been leaked. And I don't know how it hasn't been leaked. It's not leaked. It's just like that's just what happens there at this place, I suppose.
Someone had this on his phone for years or something.
Oh, man, still waiting for the official word that his parole was coming up.
He's like, do I have something in store for you?
Because I think She-Hulk, because Bruce appears in the post-credit scene with his arm in a sling. I mean, now we know, like, how, so I don't know timeline-wise, like, surely it would have been not leaked. It would have just happened, like, it would have been known a long time ago.
They say it's leaked.
Yeah, that's leaked, which I don't even, what does it mean to be leaked? It was in, like, a place, like, where a lot of people were attending, and obviously...
Yeah, phones everywhere. I don't know, dude. I got nothing.
I mean, we're gonna find out a lot about that, and it's gonna be disastrous.
Oh gosh, yeah. 3 and 4 are particularly bad. 2, this was like only mid-bad for She-Hulk.
Because 3 and 4 is when the actual show begins, essentially, like the formula, which is She-Hulk taking on these crazy cases.
Oh! You don't want to miss this episode.
Yeah, just to... My theory on why this worked this way is because it creates what the writers in the writing room probably would call drama. Yeah, they're like, wouldn't it be... If someone probably brought up, like, oh, remember that fight scene he's in Shang-Chi, we're going to incorporate that. And it's like, oh, well, what if the video of that leaks right when she takes the case and believes he's innocent?
Yeah, that'd be
unfortunate. No!
And then nobody in the writers' room said, wait, why?
No one in the writers' room said why. That is an accurate, that's just an accurate landscape of the writing room. Why didn't anyone ask why?
Which, that completes episode 2. It does.
Hard to believe that it gets way better from here on out. Those are the good ones, guys.
Well, yeah, from what I'm gathering, I actually have, like, hope that episode 5 will be the only okay-ish one if they handle Daredevil properly, but it could simultaneously be the most horrible garbage if they do.
Well, they already said that people already got serious Daredevil, so now it's going to be a different one or something.
Why do we think the next one's Daredevil? Wouldn't the next one be like her with her Titania, the trademark and stuff?
I thought they were doing that at the same time.
I don't know about that. I feel like I saw something that said that Daredevil was going to get like a dedicated episode, that it was going to be like focused on Daredevil, and that it's not here yet.
Oh, well, whenever they do the Daredevil episode then.
Well, that's the one that's, man, I'm nervous.
Be fucking terrified.
You
should run.
Apart from an outbreak.
No! Episode 3!
Yeah.
Woohoo! 3 is a magic number, they say.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, so the first thought you might have, because we're going to take right on from episode 2, is just like, wow, Emil didn't tell anybody about this? I guess he was just hoping it would remain a secret. And then you're like,
how is it even possible that it's a secret? He was in a heavily guarded, high-security prison.
How do you pulling him out of that little thing? Like, that's it. It would detect cameras
on him at all times.
And then just motion sensors of some kind, surely.
People.
Well, he's also
people, that's true.
He's probably gone for an hour or two, and no one sees that.
Nobody
I don't
knows.
believe you.
Yeah, unless, I don't know, did Wong put up an illusion or something that, like...
It's not his
tricked
name,
them?
thingy.
It's Wongers.
It's Wongers.
No, that's episode 4. We'll get to that.
No, his name was Wongers all along.
Yeah.
No. She goes to speak to him, because of course she would. He says, I was forced to fight after I was kidnapped from prison.
Who
You know, the
would do
second
such a desperately deed?
You know, the second he brought that up, I was like, that fucking better not be true.
Because that doesn't make any
Is this
sense.
just... Because I guess this is just now coming up?
Well, when we
No
saw Wong and Abomination in Thingy, and then we get all the context of this, I'm just waiting for them to explain that to me. I was like, because obviously Wong wouldn't kidnap him. That would be incredibly unethical. That would make no sense at all.
Yes, that would be extremely out of character. Whatever that is for him.
Whatever that concept is.
Whatever it is.
I guess that's the grace that the show has, is I don't even know what his character is now to break.
Yeah, for those who haven't gotten the update, Wong has been damaged several times at this point in the MCU, but there's always room for more. Practically,
Yeah, we can do
Absolutely.
more.
There's always room for more on the sludge pile.
Yeah.
There's no upper limit.
Emil doesn't have the full context for this. He just says, yeah, he did that. That's the thing that he did. So now the next thing is like, well, time to contact Wong. And
How do we do that mutually?
well, why? You know, why? It seems like you know maybe what app they're using, because I don't.
Well, they check apparently his LinkedIn account.
That's relatable and funny, but it causes problems. Yay! So, what's interesting as well is the
Wait, meeting sorcerers on LinkedIn is a relatable experience?
Exactly.
You live in
uh,
Harry Potter shit.
He says, like, he's either Sorcerer Supreme or a librarian in Kamatage, when it's like, I think you pointed this out, Frankie, but it actually says on her screen that he was target sales for 9 years, librarian for 11, and then currently Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
So, like, if you can
So, like,
read...
how did you make that mistake?
Yeah, you can't make that
Librarian.
mistake if you can read. Or,
But I guess
she read the
changed
line
their
from the
mind.
script. Yeah, they changed their mind
Yeah.
when they made the actual graphic. Whoops.
It's one of those things where you could... A scene like this, where it's like a close-up of a phone, surely you can just, like, show an actual image on the phone. It's focused on it and everything. You don't have to...
Yeah, you can just put a little picture on
See,
there.
the benefit, Rags,
Pretty
is that they
easy.
can change it right up until the end, but then they literally
Also-
changed it to be
I
wrong.
guess...
But also, isn't like glare like a real thing that would potentially screw them?
Yeah, but-
like how do phones?
I mean,
look when
potentially,
they're-
but you can... I mean, if you angle it right, it looks just fine.
I guess I don't. So what? You think like?
Some shows do it.
I guess.
Hey, well,
Sure, but
I'll go as far as saying
For
this
example-
could... How do you know this isn't for real?
Mhm.
How do you know this isn't, like, an actual phone? An actual
I
screen?
thought, like, in terms of would I be able to look at this and know?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said that they had changed it.
How would I know that? I don't know. No, what I'm saying is that the screen information doesn't match what she said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which that could be because of a lot of reasons, obviously. It's
They've
just that,
replaced. No, it's very obviously not like. Yeah, that was a green thing on there, and they changed it.
well,
You
so
It's
look at
definitely
the
super.
top.
I was going to say, looking at the edges doesn't seem... Far too big. Like, it's
Yeah.
quite right.
That's how you tell.
Exactly. There's something.
But
something's
it's-
going on.
I can understand why you do it in a lot of scenes, but in a scene like this, where it's just like a close-up of the screen, it would have alleviated some of the disconnect I have with the reality of this show as it presents itself to me, namely with our main character. It's just one of those little things I wish we'd see more, especially in a situation like this where you could like essentially make
I'll
it
have you
perfect
know, Rags, you didn't call out a
Yeah.
CGI piece of paper in Final Destination 4.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? You said it was
Yeah,
fine.
it'll be on the recording. It'll be on the recording.
And I
totally
even say, like, Rags, I'm surprised that you're okay with that.
It's probably because by the time we were on Final Destination 4, my brain was already just like, that was the least of that movie's problems.
I'm not gonna lie, everybody. Final Destination 4 is a funny fucking movie.
I notice many things, and not everything gets the privilege of coming out of my mouth. Some of the thoughts just stay nestled up in there, and they say, hey, what's up? I'm like, no. We have to talk about the rest of the things in Final Destination 4 first.
Whoa, spoilers for Halloween. I'm going to give you, not a spoiler, a hype generator, okay? So you got the arcs on the way, and let's just say there is a character in Final Destination 4 that is listed on IMDb, the character name, racist. That is it. Yeah. He has a very particular role in the story. This is good movies, on the way. Get ready for fun stuff. Anyway, yeah, it says that he was a Target sales associate in Kamataj, Nepal. Is Target in Nepal?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Because for a second there I was just like, I don't know how far Target's reach is. Well, how do you search for something like that? Target's chain or the Target buildings in the world? Or?
I guess I can just Google Target store in Nepal, and it looks like, let's see, I'm zooming in, Lalitpur in Kathmandu, we have a Target. Take a look, because we might actually have it's called Target, but it's not that Target. Unless maybe that is the Target you worked at. Yeah,
I think he's in Kathmandu. I think so.
There's places like one Target, a few places called Target Fashion, things like that. But I don't think it's like our Target, what we think of. It could have been, maybe he worked at one of those, and that's what it's referencing.
Maybe it's a cover story. You know what? That could also be true.
He'll need a cover story when he...
we're gonna get there. So, yes, carrying on. They're like, we'll contact him by sending him a thing on LinkedIn, like a picture or something. Just like, don't they have like, isn't there a whole legal method of contacting him? Isn't that how this is supposed to work?
Surely, like there's a receptionist. There's got to be a receptionist there. You'd think. You would.
At Kamataj, like not Kamataj. He lives at the Sanctum Sanctorum. Like his sources prove in New York. You know where that is. There's an address for that. Like
I mean, but to be honest with you,
place really have a receptionist. But you probably have like security guards at the door to make sure people don't just walk in. That's a really important place, and it's very prominent in this universe.
I actually would go a step in another direction. The second you acknowledge that Kamataj / the Sorcerers have any kind of way of interacting casually with, I don't know, law or any kind of institution, it opens up a bazillion questions.
Yeah, that becomes very apparent in episode 4 when we get there.
Yeah, I guess we should probably save it for then, but still, I think it's a problem already. Introducing the idea that we can just bring in Wong to talk about his involvement with Abomination is like, wait, so a sorcerer is being brought in to discuss how he portaled a man out of... You understand that there's a... I don't know, it's like one of those things where someone tells you something, and the point they want to make isn't the interesting part of what they say. You know what I mean? The parts that explain the context for what point they're trying to make, you're like, wait, what about that other... yes, I did get him out of the prison with my portal magic. Portal magic? What the fuck? It's like, yeah, what? That sounds cool to me, what? So,
I mean, at this point in the universe, portal magic should be just a known phenomenon that's quite well documented.
And if we want to accept that, then it should have been made illegal already, I presume.
Oh, definitely.
But we ain't going to talk about it, are we? You know what? Well, we'll talk about it when we get to episode 4. That's going to be the time to talk about it.
All in one clump.
Don't worry, it'll all make sense. Get there.
Nothing will make sense.
I think, well, that's kind of the point. But anyway, he tells her, like, yeah, I'm going to try and contact Wong, and she's in the car when she says this, and then She-Hulk looks at the screen, and she's like, "This is not a cameo per week show. This is my show." And then she goes, except Hulk, or Bruce, and Abomination, and Wong. And then I was in my head thinking, like, and Daredevil. And that's pretty much is per week. And then it's just like, on lampshade the cringe, right? Practically just admitted
Cringe.
that, like, you're this corpse, and you keep, like, grabbing little IVs of cameos and sticking them into your arm to try and stay alive. Like, that's what your show is.
That's what we need to rename our show Lampshade the Cringe.
Gross, you can't do it. Look. So anyway, we get the pod. Not a fan of this pod. Okay, I think we're about cringe.
It was pretty.
They do
It was
a
pretty good.
montage of people reacting to the existence of She-Hulk in the MCU in universe.
This is.
And people saying stuff like, "I hate female heroes. They took the Hulk's manhood and they gave it to a woman."
Yeah, man, there's so many fucking things in here that doesn't make a lick of sense.
Oh,
Like a machine
It's the
gun.
fucking stupidest meta commentary I've ever seen. Because there's like shit in there that says like, yeah, as I already said, they took the Hulk's manhood and gave it to a woman. Or something.
But the Hulk's still around.
Like, why are you turning every superhero into a girl? I did pause on those frames and written most of them down.
Yeah.
No more female superheroes, please. Why are you turning every superhero into a girl?
You gotta be
Someone
fucking
find a
me
way
right
to
now.
cancel hashtag She-Hulk. I have no
literally
problem
just
with
wanna get
female
out of the
heroes.
car.
Just saying, make your own.
So none of this can make any
Holy
sense
fuck.
in universe.
Exactly.
Because the context here, first of all, I really want to talk about the manhood one. The latest thing, the big event that a superhero did, I guess you'd say is Iron Man. In terms of, well, no, because Mysterio did those things. There's a lot of things, but I don't think any event is really compared to Iron Man's snap. And by extension, really, the Hulk snap. The Hulk snap is probably the most heroic thing that has happened in the history of the universe. So someone saying they took the Hulk's manhood away, gave it to a woman, it's like, I mean, the Hulk is currently alive and well, and he just recently did the most heroic thing in the history of the universe. Meanwhile, she's just here. She also exists. I don't even know why someone would say this. In universe, it doesn't make any sense.
Because I don't actually know what the arguments people make are. They're totally disconnected from what people really say.
No, also no one is going around taking the superpowers of male superheroes and put them into women. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why would anybody say that in universe? It doesn't have any context that can line up at all.
Exactly.
We've already had female heroes that have existed in this world. Are you suggesting that this is what happens every time? Why? What do you mean? I don't understand. Very strange. It's hard to... so it's just cringy and, like, as I was saying before, super insecure from the writers.
It's dumb as shit.
We gotta have affirmative action with superheroes? Like, what do you mean? Do you think the government made him because they want more female? Like, is that the idea of what's happening here in universe? No more female superheroes, please. Got 5.6k likes. It's got a little pray symbol.
So I heard this. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that they actually took like real comments from when they announced the show.
Yeah, but the thing is,
just put them in there.
Our world is different than their world.
I know. I just wanted to mention it because it just makes no sense. I don't know why you would do this. It's fucking stupid as shit. We have a hashtag MeToo movement, and now all the male superheroes are gone. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So fucking stupid. I hated this. I hated this with a passion. It's so fucking horse shit.
Please no more pray. So, we got this moment. This was famously clipped. Everybody's been making fun of how awful the animation is here, but this is kind of, if anybody was wondering...
It was bad.
It just does a little tank to the side. It's like,
Yeah, so, to get this, like, understood, he doesn't look like she's there, is the main thing.
Yeah, clearly. Oh, it looks bad.
Your eyes won't believe it. They'll just be like, no, something wrong. I would even go as far as saying the lighting on her isn't quite right either.
The lighting on her's not right. Her the way that the suit moves it's just that is not real, and it did not look good. This is not up to James Cameron standards.
No, not at all. I think you're right. I think he'd be upset with this.
He would not allow this. He would not stand for this.
I mean, people would go as far as saying the T-1000 was more believable. Because it has fucking rocks. Everything rocks in T. Okay. Cool movie. I give it a thumbs up. Maybe even 2. Yeah, they ever see PS4 graphics? It's like, dude, PS4?
I don't know about that.
You leave the PS4 alone, goddammit.
PS4 is just like, hey.
Like,
come on,
maybe. But it would certainly have better animations than that.
You'd think, yeah. You'd think. GameCube cutscene, I don't know. Whatever it is, there's a combination of things going wrong here. Is all everybody can look at this and be like, ugh.
What happened here? It's like,
Did she just break her leg? What's happening?
Yeah, we'll have a few more of them as time goes on. I'll probably point them out if we can.
There's a little swoosh to the side.
No. Yeah, so on the iPad, there's like an interview with some guy, and the guy says it's appalling that anyone would try to free that monster, and apparently the quote is coming from the prosecutor of the case originally. So that to me is a huge opportunity for something interesting. We don't get to see that. We don't get to hear any more of that. That guy, that is literally the first and last thing we hear from the guy who prosecuted Emil's case, and is on being interviewed right now saying it's appalling that anyone even tried to free him, which I'd love to know what he thinks about all this. I'd love to know but that's mine. We don't even know, what Emil thought in terms of.
Nothing interesting here. Go away.
And she says, like, you see what they're saying about the case and you and stuff, and then She-Hulk says, I can't think about that. Everyone in this country is entitled to a fair hearing. It's like, where was this last episode? Cause she's right. It's just that I didn't realize she cared about that, but they're making it clear she does now. I was like, okay. That's good, I guess. Good. Sometimes it can cause a backlash. Not a backlash. Whiplash to me. So anyway, yeah, she's pulled into her boss's office, and on the way, she's getting annoyed about the attention, but she says, people only care about me because I'm representing Emil Blonsky, but once this is done, it'll die down. She thinks the attention given to her as She-Hulk will stop as soon as she's not representing the Abomination anymore. It's like,
definitely.
Yeah, okay.
That's definitely what'll happen.
Definitely gonna happen, for sure.
Absolutely.
Things on the internet just go away. It's no problem.
That's true. You will just... That's why... That's the only reason people really care about her, is that she's representing Abomination.
Yeah,
that was it.
I can't remember how she got into that position, but it's...
No. Apes me. But she walks in and she sees that the guy, stupid sexist man, he's here, and he's trying to get help representing a case that he's making against a person with superpowers. So he needs this team. He's like, oh no, not Jen Walters, boo. And Jen, when she walks in, says, I'd love to know what this is about and not work on it. Which is just like,
okay,
lawyer. It's like, I want to know about it, but not help because I like gossip. She's like, yeah, alright. Anyway, as it's about to move on, some lady walks in as a
Valerie Book is her name.
Yeah, as a potential to work on the case.
Yeah, she's just here.
No, she's a potential to because he's looking for someone to represent the case, and he's like, no, it's not going to be Jen, I hate her. And then she walks in.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I can't talk to a 10 about embarrassing man stuff. She could be my next fiancé.
Cringe.
Yeah.
But no, what I meant, this is the only time we've seen her so far.
Graded graphics from AMD and their 6000 chips, if it has a 680M, is you have a gaming PC. It's pretty nuts. Mike Lindell, licking taint cures COVID. I licked my own and I've ever gotten sick. Buy a fucking pillow. Yeah, pretty much. Buy a fucking pillow. Maybe we will watch that sometime.
Up until this point, Boogie had established a reputation as an overweight yet friendly, nerdy gamer, who people considered charming since he was totally fine with each of his flaws. When he wasn't playing his fat Francis character, Boogie was telling wholesome stories about his personal life, with one of the more notable ones being a video titled What It's Like to Be Broke. In this video, Boogie explained that he'd grown up in a fairly poor environment,
so they had decent income. It's just they didn't like to spend it on us kids, at least on me.
And that as a result of that, he was now much wiser with his income.
Now, you know what I do with my money? Every single dime, every single penny goes into the bank, because I don't ever want to live that way again.
Which felt both inspiring and relatable, especially since Boogie highlighted that he now only spent money on things that would improve his videos.
I used every dime to buy better computer equipment, to get better. And after just a year and a half, I was able to go off because I started earning my YouTube income.
This desire to improve the content unsurprisingly resulted in better uploads, and by early 2014, Boogie passed 1 million subscribers before uploading a new video simply titled How Much Money Does Boogie 29 Have?
I feel like the video, remember when he got the PlayStation 4 before, and it was Francis that got it? That video, like, catapulted his channel.
Which felt like yet another wholesome yet modest upload, which had clearly been made with the goal of helping his audience.
I want to make sure you have the tools in mind so that you fully understand how much income we already have coming in and make an educated decision of whether or not you ever want to participate in that kind of thing.
Boogie went on to politely imply that he was making over $100,000 per year from YouTube, which didn't include third-party income like Patreon.
So let's take, for example, a YouTube channel similar to mine that's bringing in 10 million views.
Yeah, because people agree with their policies. It's amazing when you're not a... Here's what, like, corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats run on, is that, oh, they're just woke, and then the Democrats run on... I'm really stoned right now, so I'm really oversimplifying this, but we're against what they say. Like, none of them have policies, is what it really comes down to. Let me just make sense now. It's just disagreeing with each other so they can keep the status quo going. When you run on policies, it's almost like people actually give a shit about you.
Per month. If a YouTube channel is...
Yeah, no, dude, that Ryzen 7 6800U, the RDNA 2, it's called 680M, the integrated graphics is fucking insane on that thing. And then you can just hook up an eGPU to it and call it a day.
Bringing in 10 million views per month. Divide that by 1,000, you've got 10,000. Multiply that by $1, and you'll have a really good idea of how much ad revenue that channel's bringing in.
And that if you counted his YouTube channel as an asset, he himself was worth more than $1 million.
Boogie, are you a millionaire? Well, it depends on how you calculate millionaire. If you include my YouTube channel as it is, yes. After 3 more years, I'll have earned by then $1 million total in YouTube ad revenue.
This was followed by Boogie reassuring his audience that all of the money was being used wisely.
The majority of the money...
Admittedly, you don't talk about this, though, because here's the thing. Even though, yeah, I saw Ploth. It's tempting. Yeah, if you do things that people like, that's how you get votes. Amazing how that works.
We make goes into the bank. We do not live very large by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, Keynes, that's a good question.
I mean, obviously, I'm large, but we do not spend a grotesque amount of money.
Which led to more positive comment.
And that's why you don't, because, oh, he made $1 million. So, because people don't think, like, okay, over time you made $1 million, but you got to pay for things like child support. And why am I whispering that? I'm telling you, I'm whispering into the... Fuck me. But you get my point. Your mortgage, your car payment, your everything.
Oh my god.
So, this is why you shouldn't talk about it, because all your audience hears is million. Oh, he's a millionaire, that's it. Yes, taxes. So many fucking taxes. Oh, trust me, I know. You know, that's like, yeah, if you look how many views and shit I've had, it's all riches. There's fucking websites that have me like, his estimated net worth is $3.4 million. Where the fuck you getting that from? What planet? Dude, if I want to know what bank it's at, I want to take it out, keep it. Come on.
Such as, wild guess, but he's very rich now. He deserves it. He's one of the only YouTubers that didn't let the money and fame get to him.
Dude, even if you don't make millions of dollars, I don't make anywhere near that. You still pay out the ass in taxes, don't worry. You do.
His head, he's still just as humble and cool as when he started. I admire that. Amazing video, Boogie. You're one of the realest, most transparent YouTubers out there, and please know that your fans appreciate it. I clicked on this video randomly and I stayed to watch, and to be honest, I'm really happy this guy makes a lot of money. Don't know him, never seen his videos, but I'm just glad that he makes money. He's very humble and I
watch whatever the fuck you want. I could watch that too. But Gino Samuel,
back that a lot. This positive sentiment toward Boogie resulted in more views, subscribers, and Patreon members, which strengthened his financial position immediately, whilst also giving him the
you like my intro I had here with, I don't know what made me make that today.
Chance to stream on Twitch, opening up another source of income which kept him financially stable during the adpocalypse.
I will be fine. Losing my YouTube ad revenue will hit us pretty hard, but I'm...
Speaking of which, Twitch, Jay and I are streaming on there tomorrow night. So make sure you follow me on Twitch. Trying to get some more interviews set up for Twitch too. I think that'll be fun. Twitch ain't going anywhere.
I am thoroughly tickled.
Been here for a while. I know Rich loves words. Oh, there was another... Thank you for being digital. Being a member for a year, man. Thank you. I think there was another member super chat that came in. Bubbles, thank you, Dan Trippin. I'll give you bubbles now.
Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles.
David Bruce, 8 months with a man. Where does the time go? I don't know. I can't believe it's well over a year I've been doing this channel now, almost a year and a half.
Diversified our income.
Things were going so well for Boogie that in August of 2017, he paid for weight loss surgery.
Home from surgery, that everything went well. The surgery went way better than I had expected. The doctor did it in a very short period of time.
However, while this would initially improve...
I don't think Phil has spent more than...
Oh my god, you gotta be
weird.
fucking
Someone
me.
had up a clip. Okay, it's a clip, but someone asked him what mobile games he's playing, and he's like, I'm playing a couple, but there's none of your fucking business. Like, Phil, that's a weird response. Yeah, Jay has the hots for the serial killer ASMR guy confirmed. Yo, yeah, it's like, Phil, relax.
Boogie's health dramatically.
I'm 110 pounds down since the pre-op diet, and then I lost 7.5 inches from my waistline.
It would eventually contribute to him going broke in an unexpected way. Boogie explained in a video that for married people, the weight loss surgery tremendously increases the likelihood that you'll end up getting divorced.
The surgery and the recovery from it is really, really hard on a marriage. 85% of marriages fail after the surgery within the first 2 years.
He added that in the lead up to the surgery, his marriage was already in a rough spot.
Our marriage was far from perfect. One major issue that was persistent throughout the entire marriage, and that was my anxiety disorder.
And as a result of him now being in a healthier condition, his wife suggested that they should divorce.
She told me that she was thinking about separating now that I was out of the surgery and now that I was nice and healthy. We talked about it and decided that she should take a break. 2 weeks into that, she called up and said that she had made her decision, that she wanted things to be a more permanent change, and that we should start moving in that direction.
Boogie explained that his wife was extremely generous in the divorce, having stated that she wanted far less than 50% of the finances.
And she's like,
Dylan, thank you for the bacon and the cucumbers.
I want enough to where I know I'm going to be taken care of. And I'm like, okay, so she gave me a number, and I'm like, but that's not half. It wasn't half of what we were worth.
It was less.
It was less.
However, as a result of the law, Boogie ended up giving her half of what he had anyway.
She's legally entitled to 50% of everything we own. Make sure it's half, so she has no recourse moving forward.
While Boogie's financial position had taken a pretty substantial hit, his audience was still cheering for him with comments such as, I hope this is the birth of a new Boogie, a healthy Boogie, no baggage, just a happy, healthy, outgoing Boogie. However, after his marriage would officially come to an end, the opposite of this happened.
My brain is kind of in a situation where it's just chaos all the time. It's just chaos. This emotional stew in my brain all the time of positive feelings, negative feelings, numbness, frustration, and anger, you know.
Not only had the split resulted in
This is... coming from a guy who ate a hot sausage out of his girlfriend's cleavage, but on stream, on Twitch. That's why you want to follow me on Twitch. But it's still like a gray area. Like, don't talk about too much. Because then people tune in for the too much, and it's not a sustainable thing. You know what I mean?
A massive blow to Boogie's mental health, but throughout the process...
Yeah, and don't get married. You could be with the same woman or man or whatever for the rest of your life. Just don't get married. Because then you all end up... It doesn't really benefit you, except for if someone has good health insurance. And some tax benefits. But if you end up getting divorced, which a good chunk of marriages unfortunately end up in divorce, let's just keep it real, you end up paying out the ass.
Process, the Storytime rambling videos, which were once uplifting, inspirational, and designed to help his viewers, began to feel like they were being made with the goal of receiving sympathy pity from the audience. Additionally, Boogie's positive can-do attitude, where he wanted to invest his savings into making excellent content for the viewers, had transformed into this complete lack of confidence for the future of his channel.
And I'm not smart enough to be able to figure that stuff out. I'll never be good at titles. I'll never be good at thumbnails. I'm not even that good at video creation.
Leading him to...
Yeah, this is constructive criticism. Boogie, do the same thing like I'm doing, man. Pivot your content. Not that I'm going away from news. Don't think I'm...
Oh my god!
But news ain't where it's at least right now. So innovate. And it's working. Some videos will be a crapshoot. Like, I'm sure the Nebula Cosmos video will be, I'm not sure how that will do. I have no idea. May do well, may underperform, but I'm finding a new niche and I'm carving a path there. Don't just stick to the same thing. It is safe. But it's actually not safe, because if the numbers are staying flat...
Fuck the cops, bro. I hate those cops so fucking much.
What's safe about it? Because you're just comfortable with the content? It doesn't last.
Fuck them.
To develop an attitude of just wanting to get by as opposed to wanting to grow his audience.
As long as my rent is paid, as long as my mortgage is paid, as long as I can keep the lights on, as long as I can support myself and the people that I currently employ, hey, I'm happy with that.
The final video related to his divorce, in which Boogie explained that he now fully owned his house again, happened to have been uploaded in October 2018, which was the very same month where Boogie began to lose subscribers. The decline will be addressed in a video titled State of the Channel 2019, in which
I think Wings. I don't know why I would bet on Wings. Dark Side of the Buffoon.
He mentioned that the breakup had a significant impact on the channel's viewership.
2018, as we've talked about, was one of the roughest years of my life, and it really showed here on the channel.
Before going on to state that the Storytime pity party
for 5 hours straight. You want that? Sure. Foil Grim. $500 dono. Wouldn't happen right now, but I will turn on a fucking stream and just replay the song. And I'll just have, have a bird spinning on the turntable. Boom, there you go. Want that? That's what makes it happen.
The videos were also impacting the channel negatively.
But I think another thing too, Boogie, I'm going to totally agree with Keemstar, and it's not me talk. Keemstar said you got to kill off Francis. No one cares about Francis anymore. No one cares about Francis. It's not... Bah.
Just complain and whine and just be miserable. Sharing who and what I am has been counterproductive quite a bit in the last year or so.
Fine. I'll negotiate. If someone drops a $300 dono, I will have a bird-spinning Street Fighter song live stream. Fine. I'll negotiate a little bit. That's the final negotiation, though.
Mostly when it comes to the mental issues, the anxiety, the depression, stuff like that.
Boogie, did I miss your super chat, that gamer? No, I answered it. We could watch it.
Conclude the video by stating that he was very excited about the future.
I'm feeling off.
Yeah, Francis is... I think what it was is that more people didn't know who Boogie was back then. He was also... I know Boogie's fat, but he was much fatter. So that had the wow factor in the thumbnails. A lot of people thought he was just a fat dude having a tantrum. Now it just doesn't. It's dated. People know who he is, and it's just like, yeah, been there, done that. You know.
And I'm very engaged and excited about what we will be doing here on the channel.
However, only 3 days after this video was...
That's why I put up that poll with the birds. It was 55%, like they won by 55%, but if the birds lost out, yeah, the birds would have left. It's still, I mean, that means that 45% of people think the birds suck. So we'll see.
It was uploaded, and now infamous mega thread will be posted to Reddit.
So yeah, that's the final offer. $300 dono. I'll have a bird spitting 5-hour live stream. I won't be there. I'll just have the bird and the song playing. Bullshit. 2K first. 2K first, then I'll mod you. And unmod you and remod you. I'll unmod you and remod you for 3 hours fucking straight for 2K.
Which would go on to significantly impact Boogie's reputation. It was titled The Hidden Truth Boogie Doesn't Want You to Know, and it featured over 5,000 words, showcasing that Boogie wasn't exactly the nice guy he tried to portray. The thread brought up topics